as you may be aware, the elections are upcoming next year in Nigeria, 2027.
I'm aware.
And there's, even domestically, there's been a lot of questions about how our elections are running in the process. And speaking with Nigeria specifically, do you feel there's anything more that, obviously you have your bill here, is there anything more that the United States can be doing in support, either politically or other ways, that really allow for a fair and free election over there, as opposed to just a formality, and that really speaks hope into the millions of Nigerians that see some of the corruption on a daily basis that you've witnessed firsthand?
Yeah, what I'd say is that we're certainly going to be watching these results and how these elections unfold and how they're executed. And that's something that myself and the administration are going to be paying very close attention to.
You are partnering with Congressman Smith on some bills that are being presented on the floor coming up here. I was hoping you could opine a little bit more on that, and also, how do you feel about, if you had the chance to speak with President Trump, and is he on the same wavelength that you guys are? Do you anticipate receiving more support going forward to continue to fight the good fight that you're being recognized for here today?
Yeah, look, we're working on Chris's bill, which obviously I'm a co-sponsor of that bill, but I'd say more importantly, what people need to pay attention to is the appropriations bill that we're going to have on the floor today, which some call the State Foreign Operations Bill or the National Security State Department Related Programs Bill. There's a lot of language that I put on that bill that's inside of it that relates to Nigeria and the persecution of Christians and restrictions on security assistance to the government of Nigeria and steps that they have to take. That bill is likely to become a law. We're about to hopefully pass that here today. And so there's some pretty strong and aggressive language in that bill that's going to be binding as it relates to our relationship to Nigeria moving forward. And yes, I continue to work with the administration on next steps that we're going to take. I'm actually going to see President Trump tonight. I'll be having dinner with him and some other members. So yeah, I continue to talk to him about these issues, and it's very important to him. He just brought it up in one of his speeches just recently.
Peter is a symbol. It's not him. What does he say that we haven't heard of? But he is a symbol that reflects two things: the anger of the people and what could be. He says the right things, and people have keyed in onto it. Now, if Peter were running on the platform of PDP, he won't get that traction, right? So today, and I said this to him, you have an army of young people who see hope in you. What are you going to do with them? You can't. They're not going to join PDP. They're not going to join APC. But they have tasted blood. They want to be involved in the governance, the politics of their country. And they see you as an arrowhead. You've got to reflect. You've got to know what to do with them. You've got to provide them a platform. They're pursuing their ideals, and it's a righteous one. Everyone has a right to employment. Young people have two options. Either they leave, and you see a lot of that happening, or they stay back and fight it out. For them, they have nothing to lose, and that's what you saw. Now, if something is not done urgently, it will go from a passive revolution, which is what we had on Saturday, the 25th, right, to an actionable revolution, which is what we had when we called it NSAS. In fact, NSAS was still passive, but NSAS in Cross River was not passive. They destroyed. You don't want that on a national scale.
It is difficult to be in opposition in this country. Extremely difficult. Because everything is against you. People don't even want to see you. They don't even want to talk to you. I see colleagues that greet them at the airport, they don't even want to reply because they feel they don't want the government of the day to see you or see them greeting you.
Why does it look like this government is afraid of Peter Obi?
This government is not afraid of Peter Obi.
You said Peter Obi is all criticism and not solution. If Peter Obi is wrong to ask President Tinubu to resign, where do you draw the line between legitimate political criticism and political
The same rights Peter Obi has to ask President Tinubu to resign is the same right the government has to respond to him, to say the president will not resign. There's no basis, there's no reason for the president to resign. The same right that the government has to educate him, to say you need to go back to school, because we run a presidential system. What we have there is a parliamentary system. We have elections every 4 years, not just for the president, for the senators, for the House of Reps. That's when you can go back as a citizen to say either you reward. So nobody's afraid of Peter Obi.
They say Peter Obi is a nightmare of this government.
It's not a nightmare. It's not a nightmare.
They say it's one person that this government fears in 2027.
Well, people say that because it suits them. Sean, let's break it down. Oh, of course, I have to walk the fine line here. Maybe before, Peter Obi was a threat. Right now, Peter Obi is no threat.
What do you mean?
Because we stand on solid ground of performance. We have been able to interrogate the problems of this country. Decisions have been taken, policies have been unfolded across the length and breadth of this country. We have a scorecard to show. Peter Obi is not a nightmare. Maybe you replace nightmare with a nuisance.
Easy.
Yes. Because you see some of his reactions, some of the things very pedantic. Sometimes you wonder. You've seen some of his interviews. Sean, we're a journalist. Just sit down and listen to some of the things he says. They ask him a question, and it goes in a roundabout direction that does not make sense. Well, Peter Obi is not a nightmare. But when the right has to say something, it's the same right we can exercise to respond.
Does this government underestimate him?
I think this government is more focused about meeting the needs of the Nigerian people, about solving the problems, about making sure that the renewable agenda it has put forward.
But Mr. Dari, if you say that Peter Obi is not a nightmare to President Bola Tinubu, but this is the man that beat President Bola Tinubu in his home state of Lagos.
That was 2023. We're talking about 2026.
You don't think he can do it again?
No, it won't happen again.
Let me ask you.
My leader, Peter Obi, his followers don't mind him moving anywhere. Just get the ticket and be on the ballot. We will do what they need. Most of his followers are not contesting election. And why do you think he has this huge followership? He goes, I saw a video of him in Asaba airport. And all the young men were celebrating. Why? He doesn't give money. Some politicians will stop in the airport and be spraying money for people to hail them. But he doesn't give a dime. Just coming down from the car, the minute they identify him, the whole place is shaking. Because they have seen that quality in him, that this is a man that can deliver this country. To use the word, he's the man that has the code to reset this country. You and I say all the time, we need to reset this country. But that's the only man today that most of us can point to say this is the man that has that code, has the password to reset this country. So if he's going to join Arsenal Football Club or PSG, we will follow him. I have said repeatedly, 2027 will not be determined by INEC, not by the security, and not by the judiciary. It will be the people. They showed their hand too early in 2023. They can't do that. They can't repeat that. No glitches with INEC. The security agents will not beat people to submit or carry ballot papers. Neither would the judiciary have the opportunity to rely on technicality to announce anybody as president. It won't happen. There are so many things we are doing as opposition that I can't tell you all now. But from the polling unit, before you announce that result on election day, the whole world will know. Or let me rephrase that. As you are announcing it and you are loading it onto the beavers, we are loading our own results too. We have our own server. The whole world, somebody in your village, if you are in the UK, you are in the US, you are in Kaduna, you are in Kano, you are in Abuja or Lagos, you will see your people in your village, your relatives. You will see the INEC official announcing the result in the unit. You would have heard what they scored in that your political unit in the village. And that's what we'll do in every unit in this country. So if INEC official and the government are so dumb to go to one backyard and start mutilating it, we wish them well. And we'll have direct access to US Congress. As we are sending this video, live videos and results to the whole world, they will be receiving it too. They will see our red eye this time.
Okay.
Can your party withstand the pressure of this opposition that is coming?
This man couldn't be
Senator,
but he is hungry for power.
You've seen defeat and you've seen victory in an election. You've seen victory and you've seen defeat. Do you think that this pressure, if Atiku emerges, if Peter Obi emerges, if Amechi emerges, do you think that, and Jonathan is also in the fray?
No, don't drag my brother into that. That's a gentleman who considered defeat, who said that Nigerian blood is not worth his own ambition. So that is a complete gentleman. When he comes out, we know you are not to speak for him. Are you a member of his party?
Have you seen?
Are you from?
Maybe you are not following
from South. I can even speak more for him than you. Given that we are doing geopolitical.
But it does look like your party is worried
Worried about what?
Like you are
We are going to
sweating
be
right
worried.
now. Your party is sweating.
You mean
Isn't it?
that APC will be worried about which are the parties now?
ADC, NDC, PDP.
Okay, I saw Atiku. Atiku is now our best campaign manager because he's attacking Obi. And I see Obi attacking Amechi. I see Amechi say Obi is a regional player. Atiku is a regional player. He's the only national player. But he didn't tell us what his world unit look like.
We're totally out of time, Senator.
Absolutely out of time, unfortunately.
Thank you so much,
so
Senator.
Opposition can have their dreams, but they will be defeated flatly because nobody believes them. They have to speak to the new policies that they will revise, whether they will revise taxation, they will revise fuel subsidy, they will revise student loan, they will revise any of those bold decisions that President Tinubu are taking.